Welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Derek Stevenson. And on today's episode, we are celebrating another SEC victory, two in a row for Kentucky, another ranked opponent. Number 11, Texas A&M goes down to the Wildcats at home, 81-69. And to be honest with you, I felt like this was a mid-level performance for Kentucky because they had some times where they looked good in the game, and then they had some times where they were sloppy. They had some times where they wasn't locked in on defense. One of the things that stood out to me right away was the amount of turnovers. And we had 14 altogether, and uncharacteristically, my guy Lamont Butler had 6 of them. He had went down with an injury, and I don't know if maybe he was sore or whatever the case may be, but he hit the ground probably 5 or 6 times, and some of those turnovers came when he was knocked down to the ground and he lost the ball. But yeah, Kentucky definitely has to clean that up because they had 19 assists, but they did also have 14 turnovers. So we definitely want to get back to those games where Kentucky is having high level assists and low turnovers. Like when they usually on point, they have roughly 20 plus assists and they'll have less than 10 turnovers, somewhere around 5 to 7. And they usually play a whole lot better. As far as the 3-point shooting goes, they did shoot over 30%, which is okay. But we know when Kentucky's really playing their best basketball, they usually shoot around 50% from the threes. They shot 33%. And that was mainly because our guy, Kobe Perea, kind of struggled a little bit tonight. I think he only hit 1 shot. So whenever, we're not really shooting the ball that well, we're going to have some games where we're going to struggle. That's probably why we only ended up with 81 points instead of being somewhere closer to 100. Now, we did a lot of other things good, in my opinion. Like we shot our free throws pretty good. We did have 9 steals. So like I said, we had some moments where we were locked in on defense. And then we had, we also had some moments where we looked a little funny out there. But overall, like I said, a mid-level game for Kentucky, but not a mid-level game for Jaxson Robinson. I feel like Jaxson is starting to get comfortable. He's starting to kind of string some good performances together. We know he went off last game, and then he continued it over this game. 8 for 17 from the field for 22 points. 5 for 13 for 3. He shot a whole bunch of threes this game, but he did hit 5 of them. And then he did actually get a couple of mid-ranges in there, which I like to see. Like I've been saying to y'all, I actually like when a lot of the players for Kentucky, sometimes they attack the basket, and if not, take 1 or 2 dribbles and then shoot some mid-range jumpers. I want Kentucky to still stay balanced as much as they can and not just rely on the 3. But shouts out to Robinson again. Like I said, he kind of carried us for the second game in a row. And, obviously he had some help from guys like Carr. Obviously, he was doing some work, 13 points on 6 for 9 shooting. So Carr was doing what Carr normally does. And then Ortega started off pretty slow. He didn't really get going until late in the game, but he ended up with 11. He had a couple of nice dunks in transition. He was making some noise attacking the rim, and he shot 10 free throws, so he was being aggressive, getting to the foul line. What else? Like I said, Lamont Butler kind of had a little bit of a weird game because he only had 6 points. He actually had 7 assists, but he had 6 turnovers. He was kind of fighting with some injuries, so he didn't really have his normal game for us, but he still made some key plays and still played some okay defense. So he was still kind of, affecting the game in his own way, even though he might have been losing the ball a little bit more than he normally does. But yeah, Almanor, I think he's kind of starting to find his rhythm. He only had 6 points tonight, but he was 1 for 1 from 3. So I feel like he's starting to get more comfortable. His minutes are going up. Like he played 14 minutes tonight, and along with Berea and Garrison coming off the bench, and then Perry chipping in a little bit. I feel like Perry's also starting to get a little bit more comfortable. and he's becoming a little bit more aggressive. Like, I think he's kind of looking to shoot more than he was the first couple of games he started playing a decent amount of minutes. So hopefully, the more he plays, the more he'll get comfortable and start to figure out a way to get his shot. Because, like I said, I love Perry and Noah, and I think even though Noah hasn't really been able to break into the lineup, I feel like eventually they're going to be great shooters down the line for Kentucky. So I like to see, guys like Perry getting comfortable right now, because at some point he could be like a high-level player for Kentucky as far as playing a lot of minutes in the future. So I like that he's getting a little bit of an opportunity now. The game seems to be slowing down a little bit for him. And the SEC is tough. The SEC is loaded with guards. A lot of the teams have great guard play. So, it's gonna be rough. Like I said, mid-level performance, but I gotta take the win. The SEC is gonna be tough, and sometimes you're gonna have to win some games like this where you're not really playing great basketball, because a lot of the games that Kentucky has lost this season, well, I think all of them so far, I would say, was when they had these type of games. So it was good to see them kind of find a way to win one of the sloppy ones. Because this could happen to us several times throughout the rest of the season, where we're not really putting everything together. We're making some mistakes. We're not shooting great, but we still find a way to win. I know it was at home. I know Kentucky only has one true road victory. But like I said, you got to take your wins when you can get them in the SEC this year, because you could end up taking a lot of lumps on the road. So overall, mid-level performance. Now, of course, what you guys been waiting. I know I've been talking too much. So let's go on and get into these highlights and check out some of the key moments from the game. And Williams was working hard on the board. That was a nice pass. Like I said, we know our big men have the ability to make good plays for the guards. That was a good pass too. I love when we catch guys going to the basket, because everybody is expecting the 3-point shot from us. So I love whenever we hit guys flashing to the rim. And then, of course, when we get plays like this, just off offensive rebounds, we got a couple of guys, a couple of big men that can get in there, that can scrap. That's rough. They can get some rebounds. So, that's what we expect from Carr and Williams. But like I said, there's, again, Williams to Carr. It's a good little combination when you got Williams looking in the post and then you got the other big men flashing like that. Amari is an exceptional passer, in my opinion, for a guy his size. Sometimes he gets a little careless with the ball when he's dribbling, but I feel like overall he has good instincts. And if he could ever become like a real polished ball handler, I think you could run a college offense through him. I know, this is his last year, and then he's going to be on to the next phase of his career. But I think if he could polish up, he could be really useful in kind of a role like maybe the way like Bam Adebayo plays in Miami, where they kind of don't expect him to score a lot, but he runs the offense, gets guys involved. And that was a good pass out right there too. Almanor, man, I feel like he's going to be a key factor for us moving forward, and I love that he's starting to get more minutes. The more comfortable he gets, because he just adds another like consistent shooter that we need. And there's Robinson again. Like I said, Robinson had himself two hell of a ball games in a row. And I know a lot of people probably actually been a little disappointed in Robinson, because I think he was the guy that we felt like was going to consistently give us 20 points every night. I mean, he had a couple of games where he wasn't, he just wasn't really finding his way in the game. I think he had made a comment where he said like he got to keep himself mentally checked in, like his body language. And right there, Garrison could have easily turned around and got a bucket, but I love that he's just, he's kind of like Williams, just looking for the pass. And those guys, those big men just kind of read things really well. So even though he could have turned around and probably got a bucket, he kicked it out. Robinson knocked it down. But like what I was saying, I feel like Robinson had kind of disappointed some people, and I feel like now he's starting to pick it up. So he's becoming that reliable scorer that we need. And then when you can, add in, like if Barea can string together a good game along with them, and Carr and Ortega, then we can really get our offense clicking. But yeah, Robinson was having a ball game. And man, that's Perry could just be one of those guys that nobody's gonna put him in the scouting report, but he could have nights where he could be really like impactful and help us win if he just keeps himself confident, keeps himself ready to shoot. Because I had been watching him the last couple of years in high school, and the boy, he's a shooter. I mean, it is what it is. Then Ortega trying with the nasty poster right there. One thing I love about Ortega is Ortega gonna attack the rim. He might get blocked sometimes, but Ortega is coming for the rim, man. And he goes hard to the rim. He goes to tear the basket down, and I love that play right there. Amari working hard on the glass. We need that consistently. When Amari's motors up, when Amari's when he's mentally in the game and he's active, he's gonna make something happen. And there's good defense to offense. Like I said, I feel like Kentucky plays the best when they can convert and transition from defense to offense. I know that they can shoot. That was a good pass from Ortega trying to Garrison right there. I know they can shoot, but I feel like their offense clicks better when they get out and run. Like when I feel like some of the guys can just play off instinct, I feel like they look good. There's Berea, even though he didn't have, like I said, he didn't have one of his better games, still knocking it down right there. And this is the play that I feel like Robinson can eat off a lot. If he just takes his time, let guys run past him, take one dribble and up, I feel like he going to get that a lot. That was nice penetration from Butler. Like I said, Butler, he had 7 assists as another nice one. And one thing I would like for Butler to do is I would like for certain points in the game where Butler to just make sure that guys that need the ball get it in the right spot. And I feel like Kentucky could be a little more efficient because sometimes I think Kentucky relies on the offense too much to where it's just kind of like sometimes the ball might not go to the right people at the right time. And I'm looking for Butler to just kind of become the true point guard to where he knows, okay, it's this time for us to get this person a shot or this person needs the ball in a specific area. So once I feel like, we get to a certain level with a couple more things we need to improve on, I think Kentucky definitely going to make some more strides. But I mean, I'm just be honest with you. I feel like Kentucky has the potential to be a Final Four team. I know the SEC is tough. I know they're going to probably lose a couple more games, especially on the road. We know this. But I feel like by the time it's all said and done, I feel like Kentucky is going to be battle tested. I feel like they're going to be ready to go. And when guys completely get comfortable in their roles, when guys completely figure out what they need to do, and when they can keep the intensity on defense up throughout the whole entire game, and when they run and score in transition, I feel like we're going to be ready to go. I feel like we can compete and play with anybody in the nation. So like I said, I even though it was a mid-level game, I'm still happy. I'm still still enthused. We got some work to do, but we got to take these wins as we can get them. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up right there. You guys, as usual, let me know what you feel about Kentucky's performance tonight. Like I said, I think it was mid-level, but I still feel like Kentucky's going in the right direction. But you guys, let me know what you think, and we'll get back at it next time. Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson.